Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, and I'm coming at you today with a long form podcast talk video. And this is something I had actually talked about with my girlfriend this last weekend. And it was about recognizing one's own traumas. And you've probably seen this on memes where I'll just be scrolling through Facebook and say, like, on a first date, don't talk about this, talk about this, talk about your own past traumas. And the girls be like, listen, tell me about what traumatized you as a kid and how you're dealing with it now, because if you don't have a plan, I ain't got time for this. And I was like, that's actually a really good one. Maybe not one to bring up on a first date, because God knows everyone's got crazy, insane traumas that you might have to ease into a little bit. Some things I do talk about on a first date are just like okay, religion. Do they want kids? Do they? Because again, some people say not to talk about it, but I don't want to like date someone for a couple weeks and then eventually realize, oh, do they want kids? Oh, they do want kids, and I don't want kids. And then suddenly I just wasted how many weeks, how many hours, how many hundreds of dollars. Anyway, I digress. That's a subject for another time. Although I am into online dating for that reason. Again, not anymore, but because you get to, well, all right, there go the first couple dates, because you get to know what they do for a living. They do for a living, gonna get to know, gauge how much money they make, what their intelligence is, or not what their intelligence is, just whether they're educated or not. Because obviously you can go to college and be idiots, or you could not be college educated like I am and be a relatively intelligent individual. Something that actually Bojack Horseman taught me was that, okay, we inherit our parents' trauma, because most likely what our parents experienced when they were kids, one, therapy wasn't like a thing that was accepted even in like the early 2000s. Like, there were things that, okay, it was kind of like hush hush, like, oh, she had to go to therapy. Like, it was like, hey, bro, she's just trying to get help. Have I been to therapy? No. I think for the most part that I'm relatively well adjusted, and I could hear all the hate, not even the haters. People be like, "You're not well adjusted at all." But no, I mean, you have to understand, like, when your parents were younger and they had shit happen to them when they were, they didn't get help for it. They didn't go to therapy for it. Maybe if they were like children of like the 60s, 70s, whatever, they did acid, they did mushrooms, and they internalized. And they're like, okay, well, actually, whatever. Maybe they can get help that way. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not saying that drugs are the answer, although sometimes they are. What I am saying, though, is that a lot of people that needed help were not able to get help because you didn't want to go to therapy, you didn't want to do this, you didn't want to do that, and it's just not something that people did. So they didn't get help for it. They internalized that trauma and they passed it on to their kids. And that happened forever until recently. And you have to recognize it. You have to consider, okay, back in the day, parents hit their kids, and that's why my parents hit me, and I didn't like it, but they were just doing the best that they could. Because honestly, that's what people are just trying to do. Some people's bests are really good, and hey, you make a great parent. You just happen to be a really good parent. You explain things in a way that I can understand as a kid, and you are giving reasons why. You're not just saying, because I said so. You're saying, like, well, because of this and this, and okay, that makes sense. Now, again, like, some parents can do that, and their kids can be little fucking nightmares. Like, that happens. And although well, from what I've seen, like, some of the kids that I was younger that were just, their parents were strict and whatever, they were just like little crazy mother flappers. But anyway, I'm getting beside the point. Just saying, like, okay, but if you're some people's parents, some people's bests are not good. They're just their best is absolute shit, and they're god awful parents. Maybe they're not god awful people, but they just are not good at raising little people. And that's unfortunate. But whatever scenario you went through, that was the best that they could do, and you have to realize that it's not your fault that your parents are pieces of shit. Again, A lot of people have parents that love them. A lot of people that said like maybe they love them, they just couldn't. Again, they're not smart. They don't know how to explain things to kids. They view raising kids the same way as they view like cars and like TV. You just you hit it until it does what you want. And okay, that's a way some people parented for years, for generations. Obviously now you can't do that anymore. But you have to remember that what your parents did to you, like that's what they were told. That's what they had inculcated in them. And it doesn't mean that maybe like that was just their best. Like maybe they're not smart and whatever. So it's something where I just wanted to talk about it because some people didn't get, and I love you, they didn't get, hey, I care, they got scolded for not being the best or doing the best, and no matter how many things they did right, their parents only focused on the stuff that they did wrong. And maybe some people feel that they just aren't loved and their feelings aren't validated or vindicated, like nobody heard them. Any of that was you guys. I love you. I am Mom Steve from Stranger Things. No, like that's what some of the kids called me when I was the child I lived with. But no, it's I love you guys. You guys are great. And if anyone's seen Sex and the City, Carrie from Sex and the City, she writes in a column. She says, "The real family is the one you make your own, on your own, that you choose to make." And fuck it if that's not like the truth. If that's not a real thing, because it is, especially me being adopted. Family was always a weird. It was always a weird one for me. But as I got older and spend holidays with friends, especially in the military, that's something that just be cognizant of that. Recognize it and realize that you don't have what happened to you when you were a kid. You don't have to do to your kids. You don't. There's different ways. There's so many books on it now. There's so many videos on it. Jordan Peterson's got a great one. He's got not just a bunch of videos on just being good human in general. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. I don't even mean therapy. I just mean like hiring like a nanny, hiring like someone to say like, hey, like I'm not good at this. Not everyone's good at everything. Something that I saw in Legend of Korra, where in Avatar: The Last Airbender, Aang is like the hero, savior of the world. He can do no wrong. Although I question some of his methods. It shows in Legend of Korra that he was a shitty dad. Yes, hero of the world. He literally saved the world a couple of times. But as far as raising his kids, he had a couple of kids. One of them was an airbender, and he took the airbender on all these amazing, great trips, spent quality time with them, and the other two kids got the shaft. They got the short end of the stick. So just because you're a good person, one of the best people might argue, doesn't mean you're going to be a good dad. Like it doesn't. So just because, let's say you have a friend that is just awesome, amazing, open-minded, whatever, yeah, because they're dealing with adults, it doesn't mean that they're going to be the best dad or mom, or for that matter. And whereas some people that are just like, you are an absolute freaking idiot. Like, how you are able to be in control of a little person, I will never know. But then you see it as like, oh my God, he is a great dad. She's a great mom. Like, they're just... So, again, people surprise you. Yeah, so I'd be quick not to judge. Okay, this is just some of my observations about it. As something I just wanted to talk about, and the reason, also part of the reason I want to talk about is because my mom messaged me the other day. It's like, oh, I sent her a picture of me and Danielle, and she's like, oh, how old is she? And I was like, she's 46, and she didn't say anything. I always told her, oh, listen, like I do not want kids. I can't do kids. I am afraid that I'm just gonna beat the shit out of them because that's what she did to me. And I didn't like that. And I am not who. Yeah, that's right. You hang up. No. Rejecting that call. So I forget where I was going with this, but oh yeah. So Um, and my girlfriend right now does not want kids either, thank God. Um, it's something to talk about with your partner, but especially early on. Again, I do that on the first date, but again, you can, just because you had some bad things happen to you and you were a kid doesn't mean you will automatically give that off to your kids. Maybe you will, but again, it's your kids have a better shot if you recognize, like, okay, this is what happened to me and this is my own trauma, and then just talk about it. Do some drugs. No, don't do drugs. Oh, although, yeah, no, it's just something to get off your chest. Feels good. So anyway, guys, I love you. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comment some of your own traumas. Tell Papa Chavez how you feel. I'm here for you all. I love you all.